Jason, welcome to the show.
Hey, Gavin, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. All right, we're talking today about Killing Time, your short film that's just hit the Reveel'd platform. What I like about this short is that it's short. I struggle to make short films under 15 or 16 minutes at a minimum, and you with credits and all have it in under 8 minutes. So kudos to getting in and getting out, which is always the best screenwriting advice I hear and don't often follow. Maybe tell our audience a bit about where Killing Time came from, the concept, and a little bit what it's about, avoiding spoilers so that people can watch it fresh.
Sure. Yeah. Killing Time. Well, really the concept came from I'm a horror fanatic. I love horror films, I love sci-fi films, I love creature features, all those things. My I I struggle to become afraid of things, and horror films, in my opinion, are analogies put on screen
Mm-hmm.
in the form of zombies, vampires, werewolves. So I try to find like my root fear, which is time. Time management. There's not enough of it. We lose it so quickly. It's this overbearing thing, right? Not really mortality or
Yeah.
death or anything like that, but the actual element of time and organization of time. So um I thought, what about let's create something, a monster or something that will that portrays that as the big fear or
I
as
think
the
it's
thematic fear.
interesting. I'm time travel movie obsessed. I watch everything that has to do with time travel.
Yeah.
Trying to write a few things myself, but I think this is the first time I've seen like time travel like depicted as a physical apparition, as this monster. How do you go about designing an original monster character in this day and age when we've all seen the hockey mask and we've seen the burnt Freddy Krueger face? What are the steps to coming up with something original in this day and age?
Oh man, I literally dreamt him. That was it. And then I partnered with Christina Cordum, who is of Ravenous Studios. She's an amazing special effects artist, and I told her like the themes and the inspirations behind him. Sorry, spoilers. We can't avoid spoilers. It's hard to talk about with
It's all right.
avoiding
Well, hey,
spoilers for a
we'll
seven
do the
minute
whole
film.
like, all right, folks, if you haven't seen it yet, maybe pause now,
Okay.
open another window, watch Killing Time, and then come back and continue the conversation. That's the way YouTubers do it, right? That's
There, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Perfect. So yeah, so I hooking up with Christina and telling her about my fears of
Hmm.
time and wanting to put it into a monster, quote unquote. Uh, that and then describing what I saw in my dream, and she did a quick mock drawing, and I was like, oh yeah, let's tweak this and make it this, and here's the reasons why he is wearing this or looking like this. So yeah, it's a pretty fun process throughout it. So it starts with drawing out, you know, the character, what you think it's going to look like, and then tailoring it to the resources you have. With Christina, the resources are vast in terms of how to build a creature. She's been doing it, I don't know, for like almost 20 years, you know, working on professional gigs like Grimm and
Yeah.
the Doom sequel and like all these other things. You know, she's constantly working professionally as a special effects creature artist. So yeah, that's how we that's how we sort
I
of
wonder,
broke it
and
down.
you're wearing a Mandalorian shirt there, so you'll get
Yes.
this. I they've been bringing in characters from the cartoon world of Star Wars into live action with this
Right.
series, the Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian, and doing them justice. And I wonder, is there, a smaller scale version of that where you design something on paper, you chat about it, but then the casting has to be perfect. The physicality of the actor, the eyes, the shape of their head, all sorts of physicalities must come into it. Does that did that like enhance the process by finding the right actor, or were there challenges in adapting the design into the putting it into reality off of paper?
It definitely enhanced it when you find the right person to bring the character to
Hmm.
life. Um, Again, upon recommendation of Christina, this wonderful creature actor, just wonderful actor in general, Marty Matulis, who is currently starring on the NBC, I think it's, oh gosh, CBS show Evil, I believe.
Okay.
So he does all the creatures for that show at the moment. He's from Portland, and I just reached out to him, told him the concept. He was available, likes working with Christina, and that was sort of it,
And
man.
Portland's where you're based. Portland's where you
Yes,
shot the film as well.
correct. Portland, Oregon. Yep.
How's the film scene up there? We get independent filmmakers from sort of all over North America at this point. So I'm always curious what advantages everybody has in their region.
I the potential is amazing here.
Mm-hmm.
I think the organizations that are here to support independent artists are really trying to do so. We are an hour away from a beach, we're an hour away from a mountain, and you're an hour away from a desert. So there's just like everything, and a city, a city that kind of has
Yeah.
kind of looks post-apocalyptic in places and ritzy in places. So yeah, it's like a wide plethora of imagery here. So I think it's a filmmaker's dream, to be honest.
So was this your very first short film? Narrative short
Yes.
film? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you were walking into this, what did you think your biggest challenge would be walking into set that day? And then what actually was the biggest challenge of making the movie that you couldn't have seen coming?
Oh wow. The challenge that I thought I would have would be getting the lighting correctly on some of the really stylistic shots that we have in the short. The biggest challenge I had was one of my actors injuring themselves the night before and having to
Oh
scramble and
no.
replace them. Yeah. So
Oh
the
no. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
The
always those things that you can't think of delaying your film. It's always the act of God or the act of nature or somebody slipping on ice. They just, you got everything planned and you just have to roll with it. So you have to replace them the night before.
yeah,
That's wild.
it was a mad dash scramble. Yeah. The original actress who played the elderly couple
Mm-hmm.
woman in it, she the original actress injured herself. She like went to the hospital and everything. So she's okay now. She's fine, but it was a bit nerve-wracking, to say the least, to come up with a replacement, but we did, and an amazing replacement we found. So
Your film sets up as many questions when you enter the story as you do when you exit the story. Was this at all designed with the double entendre of being a proof of concept to go into a feature? I imagine there's more story to tell here.
absolutely, yeah, this is to be completely transparent, this was never intended to be a standalone short film.
Yeah.
This is literally a scene lifted from the feature script. It's the first time we see the monster, fully in action. He's been hinted,
Yeah.
in the previous scenes, but yeah, that's why we picked it to use it as a proof of concept for the feature.
Well, it feels
Um,
it's great though because it leaves you like well who is this creature? Where does it come from and what's happening? Which I
right.
think is half the fun in great movie endings or thing. I always think of the uh Evil Dead 2 where it drops him into the past,
Right.
and his car falls next to him and there's all the people around him and he's somewhere back in the times of kings and queens and you're like, what? And we had to wait years to get a sequel to that one. It was like 6 or 7 years. So I think those cliffhanger endings can be done really well. And I have to ask, did the song "Killing Time" exist, or did somebody record an original song for your credits?
No, that really existed.
Okay.
It's Kelly Ravens is the artist's name. I used to listen to his band. He's now a solo artist. His band was called Wayland Speed
Okay.
back in the day, and I used to listen to them in college. And yeah, I reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, man, can I use your song for this short?" And he was graciously let me use it.
Well,
It's great.
did you end up coming up with the title based on knowing that song, or vice versa, where you had the film title and then you're like, maybe there's a song, or I remember a song that fits it?
That's what it was. So we came up with the title first, um, and then I kind of like went through my personal, you know, song library of and tried to find a song that had something to do with time, anything to do with time, and lo and behold, there it was.
I call them songs I can afford and artists that may do me a favor. So being your first, narrative film project, is there something as a director that you learned or you take away from this shoot that you now carry forward and are always conscious of on everything that you've done since?
Yeah, yeah, I think there are many things. Being it was the first one, I I know better how to have backup plans for things that may go awry,
Hmm.
to have different 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 ways of seeing a scene cut together
Mm,
before you're in editing, making sure you shoot coverage, you know,
yeah.
all those kind of things that typically um, a first time filmmaker would struggle with. So yeah, we had all those same.
Or just rush through and think, "Ah, I don't need to
Right,
storyboard. I don't
right,
need to like,
right.
we'll shoot a bunch of different angles and we'll get it in post." Yeah. Fix it in
Yeah,
post.
yeah. And that was another thing. We had unfettered access to the location, which is and they gave it to us for free.
Amazing.
So it was just pretty amazing that um yeah, we were able to get in there, scout the location, set up frames and sort of figure out how we were going to light it with a very minimal crew. Um and then we shot for 4 days there. So it was pretty great.
That's the kind of location that would love to eat at just looking at as a diner. So when I come visit you in Portland or I'm there for a film festival, you have to take me there. Yeah.
Nice.
It's just got that look.
Unfortunately,
Oh, it's not there anymore.
it's not there
Oh
anymore. Yep.
no.
No, they unfortunately had to close up about a year ago.
Well, as
Yeah.
long as it didn't get turned into an Arby's, I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah.
No, no.
So this film also, you tackle some visual effects in there, which are hit and miss in the indie film world. Yours look
Right.
particularly excellent. Uh,
Thank you.
did you have any trepidation going into that for how to shoot for visual effects, or are you familiar with visual effects shooting prior to doing this short?
I've had some experience shooting for visual effects before that, being part of the commercial world, primarily. Um, but the person that I reached out to, Justin Martinez, he is phenomenal. He's based out of LA. Um, I've seen some of it. He directed one of the shorts in the first VHS
Oh, great. Which
movie.
segment? I love that movie.
To be honest, I forget.
Okay.
So I'll have to look it up. But yeah, I've seen his uh, 3D and post visual
Mhm.
effects demo reel, and I was and just reached out to him, and again, he was super on board.
So you didn't, it sounds like across the board for your first film, you didn't try to skimp. You really just went out on a limb and asked people. I
Yeah,
find that's amazing sometimes when you think you got to treat it like dating or anything else. Like what's the worst they're going to say? No, and then I go on with my life knowing that I took the shot. I feel like a lot of indie
exactly.
filmmakers kind of live in fear of asking for that favor, or even just engaging in conversation, when the reality is a good project will always attract the right people if you put it out there in the universe, so to speak. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
How how did you go about meeting your composer or working with the composer of the music? Because the music's really strong and has this really kind of driving force, and really to me, you feel the presence of the monster because the music drives it so much.
Thank you. Yeah, man. The Our composer and sound designer is one person
Oh
named
wow.
Brian Art Thompson, who has been a buddy of mine. We've worked in the commercial industry, you know, for close to a decade together on things, and he wears many hats like most filmmakers. Um, his real gift is with sound design
Mm.
and composing, though. He started heavily getting into it about, I don't know, 6 years ago. Started on like a program called Cubase and now is on
Hmm.
Nuendo. and has this ginormous library of millions of different sounds and
Amazing.
things and libraries to make a full orchestra pretty much. So um yeah, he really, this was his first project to, do solely on his own and with all creative freedom pretty much. And we just talked about the themes of the different beats that we wanted to hit in the pacing of it, and I really believe that he nailed it. Yeah.
How I was geez, just had a complete brain fart. Yes, I know what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you how you got started in film. Like
Ooh.
what drove you into the commercial world? Was narrative always the focus and the passion? Like where did you start?
I started in Oklahoma, of all places. I went to school for acting, writing, directing, for theater, and then I've much like most filmmakers, my earliest memories are of watching movies. I have a vivid memory of, I was a toddler. I must have been. I couldn't even speak yet or something, but I was sitting on a couch watching Richard Donner's Superman, the
Ah,
first one on
yeah.
TV. You know, so like that's my earliest memory. So movies has been in my blood. I think storytelling has been in my blood since then. Um,
Maybe it's the John Williams music because like my earliest
yeah.
memories are of
Oh
like
my
watching
gosh.
E.T. and Empire Strikes Back, and
Yeah.
just having that
Yeah.
that music burned in my brain.
Happy 90th birthday, by the way,
He's
to John
90
Williams.
today.
90. Yeah. Today.
And still going, still writing music. Like who would have thought we
Yeah.
would have had him through all 9 Star Wars movies, 3 generations of Star Wars. Like there's got to be a
It's pretty
Guinness
awesome.
World Record for longest film composition in a single series in there. Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
So when did you pick up a camera and start making movies and sort of know like this is the
Oof.
thing? Yeah.
Um, I I started picking up a camera in college, made a couple short films there, in terms of like acting in them, and then I acted in a feature film and became friends with the director, who in turn started an ad agency here in Portland, Oregon. So that was sort of my trek. I helped him start this ad agency in Portland from Oklahoma, and then moved here and did my own creative endeavors, and now I'm sort of my own boss, so to
So
speak.
last question, should I or shouldn't I flash to your original acting headshot right now on the
Oh
screen?
God, please.
You're
You
lucky.
can.
Listen,
I'm much heavier now, and I don't look as great, but
I'm a one man
same hat.
I'm a one-man operation at this board. I don't have the ability I don't have a Jamie like a Rogan show or something to like get research and call things up for me. So you're safe on that one. I kid. But what so having been an actor
Mhm.
transitioning behind the camera, do you feel like that gave you a different skill set or a better starting position of understanding how to talk to actors?
I think so. I mean, I don't know if it gave me a better head start, but I've always been a pretty good listener in terms of understanding what the story on the page is trying to tell you and what your different collaborators are trying to bring to the table. And in my mind, a director is really just a conduit to help, present this opportunity so everybody brings their best to whatever the project is. So it, I guess communication is always a key in these things, and listening is a big part of that, I think.
Well said. I think anybody out there that wants to be making movies or starting out should listen to that advice. That it's not always just about what you want to say as a director or trying to mold actors into saying things specifically. Like listen, collaborate. Those will always be two of your greatest gifts. So Jason, thank you for joining us today. We have Killing Time on Reveal. It's reveal.net. It's 100% free. You don't need a credit card. You sign up for an account like you would any other streaming service. And then you just get to watch a bunch of great independent films and shorts and documentaries. And it's all 100% free. And you should definitely check out Jason's Killing Time. Again, thank you for joining us today, my friend.
Thank you, Gavin.
Looking,
Thanks, Revealed.
I know there's another film that's finishing up its festival run stuff soon enough, so hopefully that's on
Hmm.
reveal. We get to check back in with you.
Heck yeah.
All right.